Now, I have, let's see, I've come in contact with someone who also has a like divided household, and it's difficult. Neither one of us actually probably. I know I didn't want it. I don't imagine he, in the beginning, ever thought that it would be this way. And the kids come home so tired. Is it the fault of the parent that the kids are coming home tired? Sometimes it probably is. But we need to make this situation okay. So we need to see things that make it not okay. So the kids coming home tired, they need baths. It's just a thing. They've been busy all day and they need a bath at nighttime. But of course, they didn't get a bath tonight. I had to do some stuff with Abigail. So by making things okay so that we can have a kind of a freedom from having to deal with the chaos of a divided household, two separate households, kids going back and forth, packing up stuff, forgetting stuff. I mean, Eric and I have had to meet because we forgot a blankie. I mean, it's just a thing that happens. And we need to see the things that make it not okay, because those things make life so much more difficult. Now, as far as the kids coming home tired, they're going to come home tired. They've been busy. They've been doing stuff. Now, if you have a situation where the kids aren't sleeping well at the other parent's house, which we've struggled with because my kids they like to actually be in their beds, you know what I'm saying? So there's some things that, each household can do to make things more comfortable. So I always encourage my kids to be okay. I don't do like these goodbyes that are like insane. I'm just like, okay, guys, have fun, because I want them to be comfortable going to dad's. I don't want long drawn out like goodbyes or anything like that. It can be kind of a parent thing that you wait until they're gone. But even when they're gone, I made this choice. So I need to make it okay for them. And this choice came based on so many different things that in the long run, mommy's healthier, better. Their dad is healthier and better without us being together. That's typically why people choose a divorce, especially with children. There's something. It wasn't like perfect and you're like, oh, we're not going to live together anymore. It wasn't like that. And so we go into penis and vagina size match and look at the beginning with everything that we can discover beforehand. And I know couples talk about things beforehand, but perhaps maybe there's some things that you thought were okay that turned out that weren't. Or maybe you didn't know that they didn't tell you and you find out 6 months later. It's kind of in depth when you get to the beginning of the things that you should be asking. A lot of couples don't ask these things before they hop in bed together, and then they're kind of stuck together, because do you know how hard it is to stop a relationship? It's painful, it's stupid, it's ridiculous. And if you just ask some things beforehand, you don't have to get into that aspect of this heartbreak and all this kind of stuff. I have this shiny chapstick stuff on. You don't have to get into all of this heartbreak, this craziness that goes on with relationships, because you're getting things right in the beginning. One of the things with me is I didn't want my kids to get their little heartstrings attached around someone and have them leave. That that's so. The lady I helped with AAA. She had been in multiple relationships before she found this guy who's from Dallas that she's with now. And she was telling me her son like goes places with him and talks to him and stuff. His dad's not involved in his life at all. And she's been in a bunch of different, and like, so I always ask like how people meet, like kind of like that Marry Me song by Train. And she said we met through a friend, and I didn't know him before. He actually is from Dallas, and they call him country. He has like this etiquette, this niceness about him. And I always ask, because it's interesting how couples meet, especially after like divorce. How do you meet someone? If you don't do POF or if you don't do this kind of stuff, what, it has to be random? Up and until, I guess in a sense, it can be a random type of thing. The prayer system is very real, obviously. I was totally in the prayer system, completely. If you think of it, I was totally in the prayer system. And so prayers can be real, in the sense of an answered desire. But an answered desire without all the right information can lead to some very poor decisions for our humanness, if you will. So anyway, random meetings or those types of things, they happen. I mean, think of the 40s. Think of this couple in the 40s. Just think of this. And she was riding a bike, and they were taking something off from a van or something, and she ended up hitting it and falling, and she met a military guy who happens to be black or African American. She was white, and very strange for the 40s, right? And they had a chance meeting, and they were beautiful together. They just thought each other was just beautiful, and she wanted to get to him to thank him. And it took her like 6 months or something. And they wrote letters because obviously, if I have to tell anyone, in the 40s, we didn't have cell phones. Anyway, so they ended up getting together and having a beautiful relationship. But one of the aspects of them is they didn't fit together completely. There was like 2 to 3 inches of hangout. And though they made it work, there was still complications, if you will. Like he didn't get no 30 in the 15. He had to constantly stop himself from hurting her. And as you grow older, those things might go away, like you don't need them, but your humanness, I'm sorry, still needs it. So anyway, so think of that couple in the 40s. And this couple in the 40s is like, let's say they've already passed away, and let's say bring them forth, and let's say they came off from, I don't know, something, and that they want to assist in some fashion. And the assist in some fashion is towards a humanness that we don't have to struggle with our sexual nut and bolt, if you will. Where's my container? I don't know, it must be in my bag. I bought this container of nuts and bolts to show, and I did this little talk at the open house when I had the studio. It didn't go that well. There were some very immature people there. It's like I'm trying to talk like an adult, and you're acting Heidi. She's like acting very like immature. Like, are you kidding me? One other girl who's the Christian counselor, I don't know if she still rents there or not. She was very highly upset. Like, okay. So Christian Jadlowski was there that day. He didn't attend the actual meeting, but I had quite a meeting with him in the studio while we were waiting. He's just... Anyway.